Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is ML7 Gaming, and we are playing some Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. We're back. I screwed up the other day, and I recorded a bunch of episodes without mic audio at all. And so I'm coming back to redub them. This happens to be a redub where I am doing the voiceover back on top of it. So I'm watching along with you guys as I try to figure out what the heck happened. We are back, obviously, at the tavern. We just woke up. I have already redubbed the other episodes, which are in the future for this one, and somehow had missed this one. So we're back to get it done. I will re-explain all of this again in the next episode. I apologize. Just somehow this one slipped past me. So we're back to knock it out too. And we're going through kind of figuring out like which characters we like and what spells they have. And I don't know that any of it's all that important at the moment. I don't honestly remember what happens at the very beginning of this episode, so we're just going to kind of wander along. We're going to check our quests real quick. Obviously, the ones with the green V mean we finished, right? So we're good with that. League of the Inspiring Cart, we still need to go out of town to the camp to help Elon look for his ring. More than nothing. We're still looking for the Nameless Ruins for Nenio. All right. And I think that's the only things we've kind of updated since last time I looked. And I'm just going back and forth and verifying that I know what the heck's going on with those. Eventually, we'll skip past this screen. I might have to just do it manually if I don't hurry up. Yeah, come on. And the rest of these are pretty much the same. They haven't really changed. So, purge the demons from the Tower of Estrad, go to Horgus's Manor, all that sort of stuff. And I think we just leave now. All right, we've gone back to the market square. And as you can see, I'm running with Nenio rather than with Ember. And we're going to try to start working on finishing out exploring. You can see we've only got about half the map figured out so far. So we're going to try to figure out the other half and see what we can see. That's the goal anyway, right? Try to finish this off. Then we can kind of go on and figure out what else is happening on the world map. But until then, not so much. Anyway, we'll see. So now we just got to figure out where we got to go. And I think we've got the little bridge across. But I think we're going to finish up. Yeah, we're going to go up straight up here. Quick little fight. Cultist Evoker. We'll start off with the fight. Why not? And of course, land just finishes him. Because that's what land does. 13 damage. But there's more that we can't see just around the corner somewhere. So we're kind of trying to sneak up here a little bit and see if we can find them. There's one more. Can't really do much about it at the moment here on this first turn where we just have our move. We just have the one standard movement here. Can't get the charge off. So I decided to just stay back a little bit, I think. Let him come to us. If we go all the way up, then he can get an attack, right? But if we stay back, then he's got to move too far. At least that's the idea. And there's a barbarian up there as well that we've just discovered. And I'm wondering if we can actually get into the upstairs of that building since we can see through the roof. He did go past Woljeep. Woljeep did manage to get an attack of opportunity because, again, they love to go after land for whatever reason. And did he kill him? Yeah, we got experience for it, so he must have died. Yep, Neophyte. Oh, and now that wizard died. Yeah, they're all dead. They all die. Poor Camellia, she's trying to run up and find somebody to fight. We've got another glowing guy with a giant leg bone. See that big old hip joint there. Wonder what that came off of. Something big. I don't know, maybe a horse? I guess that would be the right size and readily available. Pretty easy fight. What do we do next? Oh, there's a building in here. So, the question is, do I go in? Or do I explore some more? I'm looking at the stage, remembering the stage from the first map, right? When we first started the game, the area of the square, and trying to put it together where we were. So we must have fallen down from the other side of this crack right here. That's the idea. So we're choosing to kind of look ahead a little bit more. All right, people not killed by demons. These are all killed by regular people. And now we've got the cat. And now I'm wondering if we can pick up Tiger. And we can. Tiger was also a pet in the previous game. And in a second here, we're going to finish grabbing the loot. And I'm going to wonder Can anybody have a familiar? Can I run all of the familiars at once? That is the question. Or are we only going to be allowed to have one out at a time? Apparently, I don't start thinking that yet. But in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Looks like we might be able to jump across there, maybe. No, it was just the comment that it was made by the site, I guess. All right. I'd originally, and we'll talk a little bit more about this next episode. Hear me, take heed. The hordes of the abyss march on Canabria. This isn't the part we'll talk more about. The wardstone is their target. They must not be allowed to capture it. The consequences will be disastrous. I originally was just going to kind of take these episodes that missed the audio and just said, sorry guys, I missed the audio on these. Some stuff happened. We had some fights. We're this level now and move on. But there's some fairly critical encounters that happened, especially in this episode and the next, I want to say. Well, actually, all three of them that I missed all of the audio in, has some pretty critical stuff. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to kind of skip this fight here. It's just a normal fight. Nothing fancy happens with it. Here alongside what is the church. And we'll be back when it's over and we'll see what we're going to do after that. All right, fight's done. I'm coming back to go into the house now. So we kind of cleared out the open area in that section. And now we'll kind of try to start looking at the structures. And I decided to start with the house rather than with the church. I was kind of thinking that the church might be a bigger fight. And so my thinking was we'll come in here. The house is probably a smaller fight than the temple is going to be. You know, I figured lots of demons desecrating it, something along those lines. And so that was kind of why I chose this versus that. And now we're doing, you know, we just run WotR Fin on stealth, take care of this trap.
This is my kind of work.
Make sure that's okay. Go to take care of our loot. I think. Slowly. Everybody else is just chilling and going, dude, there's nobody in the room. You're okay. Protection from chaos. And a book, Stories Told Us by Spirits. All right. And a note, journal about an experiment. Today I was able to catch a quasit. Irory might be my witness. It wasn't easy considering my humble physical condition. Luckily, it was a scrawny specimen, about 7 pounds, with a wingspan about 2 1/3 feet. When it woke, the quasit first tried to attack me and then ruined my clothes with his caustic saliva. Day 3. I've begun my linguistic research. My goal is to study the language of the quasits. I'm quite convinced they have their own dialogue. Birdie's behind me rolling around making weird snorting noises. I'm sorry if you can hear him. Anyway, he thinks he can convert them over to Everboom Milani and use them in rebellion against the Lord's tyranny. Unfortunately, progress thus far has been insignificant. I've only been able to catalog 2 words, which I suspect must mean rend and carrion. The quasit form both words quite vividly when commenting on my person. I don't think we'll be able to see. There he is. He's dug himself a nest there. He clears out a spot between the pillows and the blankets and... He must have had a good itch. He's been going... Essentially, since I had to start reading that, he just started... Are you done? I think he's done. All right. Pick up some loot. And, looks like there's a downstairs. You know, I wondered if we could go upstairs. In actuality, we're going downstairs. I'll sit kind of here on the edge so we can keep an eye on Shorty a little bit. All right, sneak ahead again a little bit. Oh, that was a good shake. Where you going? What you doing, buddy? Huh? He's just a tail, huh? You come see me? Come on. Still sneaking up? We got this thing and we get hit. What the hell hit us? And when we hit it, something gets summoned or pops into being. And so now we've got a little bit of a fight, and we'll continue on with that. He's a little bit blowing out on with the sunlight. He's got himself a nice little beam. That's the problem with a white dog in sunlight, right? On camera. It kind of disappears. It's the same as a picture of a white cow in a snowstorm, huh? Huh. Don't you think? Yeah? Alright, so we kill it, and now it's time to clear the blockage. And I have to admit, I'm not real smart here. I'm a little bit dense. We did find a scroll of See Invisible and a scroll of Fairy Fire, I think, when we first came down here. And that was a clue that I completely missed. I'd like to say it's because I was busy narrating to you guys, and so not paying as much attention as I should
all right?
to the game. Hopefully it's not a clue you guys missed if you happen to play through it. And we come up here again, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, is there like I'm wondering if there's like a certain number. If I click it like 8 times, it'll run out of charges or something like that. It's kind of what I'm thinking at this point, but that's dumb thinking. Let's be honest. Did not think this one through real well. Oh, what you doing?
Stab you or zap you?
Yeah, are you doing good today? Of course he is. And so we end up fighting a few of these, just little fights, ones and twos at a time that get popped up as it happens. I do eventually figure it out. We'll see that here in a few minutes. But the game does need to give me another, yet another, the word I'm looking for. Another hint. Huh. That they do. Had to give me another hint. Alright, once again, we need land to finish him. Pretty good shape health-wise still, though. No real worries so far. I kind of run everybody up in here, hoping that maybe Perception is going to spot something and may help me figure out what's going on, right? So I come running up with everybody, hoping to get the high Perception going. And we're not getting anything spotted anymore. Now I realize now that it says Shadow Demon, playing with your kind never gets old. Mortals are so funny, right? And now I'm like, wait, it's here. Now I'm looking for that scroll. I'm like, where the hell did that go? Somewhere in here, I have a See Invisible and a Fairy Fire. And of course, I put it at the top because it hasn't been organized since then. At least I think it's at the top. Burning Arc, Fairy Fire, and there we go. Scroll of See Invisibility. Now I'm just like, who can cast it? And it looks like Wojif can use it, which makes sense. And now it's a matter of where the heck is it? So we cast it. It's not right here. See, I'm surprised. And then I see it. Outlined in red. There we go. A Shadow Demon. And so she just, every time we tried to clear it, she'd zap us. Used all of her... of course, it's incorporeal, so it takes no damage. Ghost touch weapons, you feel full damage, and I can't read the rest of it because it's behind me. We talk about that in the next episode too, because frankly, I forgot about this one. So I'm like, well, maybe we just do a Fairy Fire on it so everybody can see her. Was kind of what I was thinking. I don't think I end up having to do that. I think I just walk up and smack it. Do I cast it? I'm thinking about it. You guys can't see my little head, my little... And so I was thinking hard. See, the problem is, you know, like when you have an engine and you stand on it and the torque from the engine makes the engine tilt. And, you know, if you got a really, really powerful car to make the whole car tilt over, right? Well, that's what happens. See, when you start thinking, the torque from the brain kind of causes the whole head to tilt. That's what it is. Maybe I need softer brain mounts, right? So it can tilt on its own without having to flip everything else around. Run everybody up. She decides to come in and help us out a little bit with that. Does a big attack to Camellia, though. Doesn't like her. Can't imagine why not. Nenio just misses with the crossbow. And we're doing reduced damage because it is incorporeal. And I don't know that I noticed that it was incorporeal at the time. I mean, I knew it was invisible, but I don't think I noticed it was incorporeal, despite the fact it gave us a huge pop-up, which we did read on screen, saying, hey, this is incorporeal and you can't do damage and yada yada. But I don't think it really... I wasn't thinking well that day, apparently. Or at least that early in the morning. This is the first episode I recorded that day. About 10:30 in the morning, so, you know, I've been up, had my shower, had something to eat, but not really done a whole lot else. I'm still thinking about that Fairy Fire. Is it going to help if I throw the Fairy Fire on it? But I'm just not on the right person to do it. The Witch gets kind of a weird mixture of what they can cast. And so it always is like a pain to find it. A little bit surprised he couldn't, but he can with a use magic item check. But it's not apparently within his normal kind of realm of stuff. Which again, like I said, surprises me a little bit. That I just don't really have anybody for that spell. And it might be that it's too high level, that it's the wrong... I don't know. So this is where I'm like, well, we could cast it, but is it worth wasting and not getting...
I'll cut you
We got somebody in the neighborhood who has a little scooter, and it sounds awesome. He just went by me. So if you heard it, I apologize, but I was like, I used to have a little Honda Ruckus with a big old aftermarket muffler on it. It was amazing. I'm sure all the neighbors hated it, but I loved it. All right. Shadow Demon dies. Did it. Master Weak Dagger. Sneak attack. All that good sort of stuff. Back over here. Quick check. Got a level. He put it into Wisdom. So it's nice to get land up a level. And this I'm like, do I want to put it into Wisdom? Maybe I'd rather have it into Dex or Strength, but I decided, you know what, we'll leave it into Wisdom because I believe that monks get an ability where they can use their Wisdom bonus instead of their Strength or Dex or whatever within their attacks. And so it probably makes it more sense to be Wisdom because that will help with any spell casting, but potentially also help with all those additional bonuses as well. And he gets True Strike, so he can spend a point as a standard, and his next single attack roll gains a plus 20 insight bonus. So essentially, he should hit. You know, applies to attackers trying to, and if it's concealed, it doesn't matter. So it would have been really useful for that fight. So anyway, nice little level up. I'm not sure what I'm checking there.
Meditate on your mistakes. It might make you feel
Who
better.
knows? Going for a torch though, because it's dark, and I just at this point have realized that it might have been a difficult fight for you guys to have watched. So we're going to take care of that. Pop a couple health potions, just kind of top us off a little bit. We don't need a lot. We've got plenty of scrolls too, for to heal Laputa. So. So like, who do I want to cast those? I'm like, oh, she's got a couple. We'll just do those.
Open your heart to me.
Maybe. Maybe not. There we go. 3 hit points, and what do we get second time? 6. That's plenty. Plenty. Alright. Athletics, go ahead and clear that. Takes about 4 hours. And what's back there? Little storage room library. Got a nice chandelier. We should probably lit the chandelier, huh? I don't... Oh, I decided at this point, instead of using a torch, maybe I'll just cast light. Yeah, we just throw light on the paladin. Makes sense. My private save, my main character is... whatever the angel people are. And a war cleric, and so she's got the halo, and I just cast light on herself as a cantrip, so I never think about torches with that, and I just realized in this one I could do that as well. So we've got a composite longbow here of some sort. We're going to grab it, and it is called the Wicked Longbow. And eventually we'll look to see what it does. Come on, mouse over it for me there. So right now, I think we're using Finian as the longbow, so this gets us a Wicked Longbow. It's +2. On a critical hit, the target must pass a will or suffer a curse. And the curse gives them a -1 penalty to will, -2 to fortitude, and -3 to reflex. And it requires a remove curse spell. Yeah, we're using Finian at that point. So 3 to 10. So it actually, this one does a little bit more damage because it is a +2 longbow rather than a plus. Finian is essentially +1. Both are the same crit. Both have the same range. The only difference is Finian is cold iron and this one isn't. I don't know that it matters though because the magic tends to take care of that. And so the question is now, who do I want Finian to be? Well, we at least start thinking about it being a rapier. And eventually, is that what I go with? So +7 and 2 to 7. I think it was only a 1 damage difference. We went from masterwork to +1. So yeah, so it would have just been a 1. They're both cold iron. They're both masterwork, but so I stick with it. I'm thinking I go with the dagger on Woljif eventually. Do I do that today? This one is just masterwork, not cold iron, with no bonuses. Well, I mean, still +1 to hit because it's masterwork. But for now, anyway, I guess. No, did I change my mind? think I changed my mind. I don't know. We'll find out here in a second. If I do it one more time and make it a dagger, then we'll know. Yes. Dagger, right there at the top. Of course, then you change characters and it goes away for some reason. Don't know. Thought a little bit about whether I should have gone with the short sword. And I think here in a second we check to make sure that I do have benefit to use daggers versus just any light weapon. You know, do I have any feats specific to daggers? Because otherwise a short sword would have been just fine in the offhand. But I do have finesse training dagger, which means I am just using my dex, which is +5. So if we went to the short sword, I think we'd have to use our strength for that. And so it makes sense to just leave it as a dagger. And we'll head back out. And I will roll on the game a little bit here until we have something else to talk about. All right, I have gone outside and then hopped right back inside into the temple. Now, I thought this was going to be a big fight. And as you can see, not so much. So, a little story here about the Crusaders and the Ever-Bright and Knever's Defenders and yada, yada, yada. And I don't think I read it there either. Got a little bit of loot, because, you know, robbing the temple. Altar of Desna, Goddess of Luck, patron deity of travelers and dreamers. And that's kind of it. Not much else in there. A few pews knocked around. Doesn't look like they have a huge group of people that are there, clearly. One of the smaller temples, probably. And that was it. Kind of disappointing. Like I said, I expected that to be a bigger fight. And it turned out, well, not to be. I guess is the answer. So back to exploration. See if we can find a way back down to that section of the... yeah, I think I accidentally clicked on that. So now we got the mobility. And in theory, hopefully we'll be able to hop down.
Pretty good, aren't I?
To the next section. And a big fight here. We've got some dudes to help, but it's an easy fight. It's just centipedes, and we do have some help. So I'm going to skip this one. All right, that fight is over. We're moving forward, and we've got Ramian. And it said Hulrun, who was the Preceptor, right? My beloved brother, I admire your zeal, of course, but would you not agree that this is hardly the time to be standing guard over a hole that no one will ever emerge from? Or perhaps you're concerned that somebody will decide to go for a nighttime stroll and accidentally fall into it. Such foresight is laudable. But do you really need so many soldiers for the task? Can't your warriors be put to better use, for instance, fighting demons or clearing rubble, while the people trapped beneath might still be alive? And Asimov, that's what my character is in the other one. Anyway, Hulrun, if you remember from the previous story, they said was the Preceptor that told them that there were demons down there, that they ignored him, but then told them something else and they thought he was an idiot. So, who knows? The old gray-haired fellow seems vaguely familiar. He isn't the leader of the local Inquisitors by any chance. Be careful with him, girl. Those people place no value on science, and they believe that ignoring high-level scientific questions to be the best response strategy. Incidentally, did you know that the fastest way to draw the attention of Amodi's can't talk Inquisitors is a heartily bellowed, "Hey-o, Baphomet!" After that, you'll have precisely 3 seconds to explain yourself, so it's best prepare what you wish to say in advance. Don't you dare call me brother heretic. The signs of recent hard fighting are obvious in the stern old man. Armor's dented, covered with blood. Unnatural power suggests something more dangerous than wounds inflicted by claws and fangs. Nevertheless, his gaze is stony and his voice, accustomed to barking orders, is harsh and clipped. How dare you accuse me of doing nothing to protect this city, especially now when followers of your temple are caught committing treason? To my mind, they are no different than the demon worshippers, those miscreants, those beasts that are digging under the city walls. I read faster this time, apparently, because we got a little bit of a pause. Who's that down there? Everyone knows, my dearest prelate, that your zealous pursuit of the order of the city, you have long since forgotten how to tell friend from foe and good from evil. That's what happened with my adepts, whose act of treason was a genuine attempt to save the city. And yet again, I'm forced to repeat myself. While we are wasting time on pointless quarrels, people are dying under the rubble in our city. People whom we could have saved if you had only set your soldiers the task and not kept them here, surrounding a useless and utterly harmless hole in the ground. Harmless? Well, only it's on your say-so, and you must mean that someone down there. Your associates, no doubt. And they're just waiting for us to abandon our post before they slink out and try to, the old man notices your approach. And you, I remember you. You appeared in my city the day the demons attacked and Tendelev died. What are you doing here? Answer me at once, or I'll have you strung up on your ankles before you know it. Don't you think that the demons have wounded me? I still have enough strength to take on 100 of your sort. And what is this hideous creature? Hulrun peers at Lan with suspicion. Lan, at your service. My forebears fought in the First Crusade. I've lived in Canabras my whole life. You haven't ever seen me before? Ah, it must be because you don't ever venture into our underground district. We have long been meaning to complain to the city authorities that our paving stones have been in need of repair for a long time. The First Crusade? So you're a mongrel? Humph. You obviously know human speech, surprisingly well in fact. Alright, let's be off with you. If he causes any trouble, I shall hold you responsible. Come to think of it, you still haven't told me who you are. And I wait. I'm way ahead, I'm thinking. Who are you to ask questions? I find it passing strange you don't already know who I am. Hulrun Shapehawk, Prelate of Canabras, Inquisitor by the grace of MOD, Defender of the city by grace of Her Majesty Queen Galfrey against threats from within and without. Ramian, and as you can see, we've done a sterling job protecting the city. I am Ramian of Edmate, Prior of the Temple of Desna, which alas, currently lies in ruins. Wise Hulrun here believes it is vital to guard this hole in the rock, from which he is certain demons will emerge at any moment. I've been trying to convince him the city has far more urgent matters to deal with, for instance, rescuing those dying under the rubble. You know what? There may in fact be one matter that is more important than guarding this hole. I put it off, and look where it's led us. I should have had you hung from the gates when you dared to defend your gang of delinquent demon collaborators. If the Sarkorians had hanged Arilu Vorlesh while they had the chance, there never would have been a war. I won't repeat their mistake. I won't hesitate any longer. Soldier, seize the scum. Prelate, see reason. These are frightening times, but threatening to hang someone without trial, that is unworthy of a servant MOD. Lest you forget, girl, we serve the same goddess, but you are not an Inquisitor. Don't question the way I choose to serve MOD, and I won't question yours. Alright, we got some choices here. Lawful. Chaotic is don't lay a finger on him, you'll have me to answer. I don't know that that's chaotic. I mean, I guess you're going after the power in the city, the lawful authority, so maybe in that case it's chaotic. But he's clearly not following his own rules, apparently, that there's no trial, there's nothing like that. He's doing what he wants to do. So, lawful might actually be, he deserves a trial. I don't know. Once again, I'm not a huge fan with their lawful versus chaos choices. I don't think they're very well thought through. They just randomly stuck lawful and chaotic without really doing any deeper look at what the choices were. Our other option is just to ask what they're accusing Ramian of. We've already heard he's accusing him of being a traitor, for standing up for people that he considers to be traitors. And our other option is to use the mythic path, reveal the light of heaven. Now, we are told to go out and to find as many people as we can to rescue the city. That's our goal out here. And so I choose to reveal the light of heaven because I'm hoping to get him back to the tavern, which is where he should be, and which is also more or less what Ramian is asking for. And so I've gone with that, and of course we throw it up, yay. You're telling the truth. The light in your hand was wrought by the power of heaven. I will keep an open mind in regard to you, stranger, and later, under less fractious circumstances, I'd like to ask you about how you came to receive this gift. So that's why we went with it. It is what it is. But that can wait. Now I must deal with this filth once and for all. And once again, I ask why. Treason. Not long before the city was attacked, several followers of a temple tried to secretly access the Ward Stone and performed an unknown ritual over it. The Ward Stone of Canabras, the gift of Imode, the bringer of light, brought by the hand of her herald, the first in the chain, and followers of that crazy runt of a goddess try to meddle with it using magic after hearing a voice in their dreams. My soldiers almost had them caught when Ramian got in the way, allowing the traitors to go to ground. I made a mistake. I didn't have him locked in a cell and interrogated within an inch of his life. And now, the city lies in ruins. It's time to rectify that mistake. So now I have to make a decision. Whose side are we on? I know we need the clerics. Told we need the clerics. For the Crusade side of things. I've told you before, I'll tell you again, my people foresaw the attack of the city. They knew the Wardstone already carried the seed of corruption within it. We're simply trying to heal it. And so I have to choose between lawful and chaotic. And in this case, even though I'm not 100% sure that these choices are accurate to their lawful versus chaos things, I believe we just say don't lay a finger on it. You have to answer to me. Thought hard about saying nothing. In fact, I did. You're a fool, Hulrun. You're a zealot and a murderer. And you're a fool first and foremost. I told you that the Wardstone was weakened. You wouldn't listen. I warned you that the city was going to be attacked. You shooed me away. The truth is that my young adepts are trying to save the Wardstone, and you stopped them. Of course, you're truly responsible for the tragedy, for this tragedy of the demons, but you've done nothing to prevent it. And now you would rather kill an innocent person and perish yourself than admit you were wrong, as always. And then he runs away. Invisible and gone. Oh, damn you. He fled the heretic. He's no doubt expecting me to rush off in pursuit, but that won't work on me. What about you? If you truly have been marked with a gift from heaven, this is your chance to save the city. Go and bring back that filthy traitor. I'm almost certain that he and his cronies were helping the demons, either knowingly or unknowingly. Their attempt to bewitch the wardstone is clear proof. Ramian must be captured. Now, we already know the demon told us that there was a flaw in it, so it makes perfect sense that they were actually trying to fix it, that they'd seen it. Those crows Desnians were bursting into my study with their incoherent prophecies that came to them in their dreams. I won't lie, sometimes what they said did come to pass, but can we really rely on the woolly dreams of heretics or the cold hard fact of intelligence reports? Plenty of demons could easily have fooled them and whispered treasonous plans in their dreams, yada yada. This time, Mr. Curls for Brains came to me and declared that the demons were about to attack the city, and that the wardstone's power was diminished by some kind of contamination or taint, which the demon told us about. Ayamode, forgive me for even repeating the words. After uttering such blasphemy, he should have been locked up alongside his followers and interrogated, but instead, I simply increased the surveillance on them. And what next? My people caught them red-handed, trying to attack the wardstone with unknown magic, and not 3 days later, the demons attacked the city. There's an obvious connection between these events, whether deliberately or under demonic influence. The Desnans played right into the hands of Deskari's hordes, and they almost left the city completely defenseless. Ramian covered for his people the whole time and helped them escape the guards. After that, what else could be for the traitor heretic? Now, you could say that the taint or the corruption in it was caused by them as well. Obviously, both ways to go on this, depending on how you want to look at it. You could rationalize your decisions either way. I don't know what I've gone with. We'll wait. I'm obviously saying similar things to you now in the game that I'm saying here as I try to kind of work my way through our options and figure out what we want. So I'm going to take a drink real quick while I wait to see what I click. Oh, never mind. You've been... nonsense. I had to deal with a brood of Nabusis. It was nothing. You take it on worse enemy with the goddess's help. I failed my Arcana check. Not sure what his wounds are. So we'll find out. I don't know why that's an Arcana check. But, okay. Why are you obsessed? Why? You must not be from these parts, or you would have asked such a question. I look for enemies everywhere because our enemies are everywhere. You're not paranoid if everybody is out to get you, right? Who are we at war with? Demons. Demons and cultists. They are masters of deception. They worm their way into the favor and masquerade in all manner of false guises. Do you think Dresden was captured to take my force? No, by trickery. We're not from Econobers. We would have gone the same way long ago. Now listen to what I'm about to tell you. This was a long time ago. I was very young then, and I had just joined the Crusade. Back then, Canobras didn't have a garrison so much as a public thoroughfare. Anyone who wanted could just stroll through the city. One day at dawn, a group of refugees came to the city gates, bold as brass. The guards let them in. And why not? No one's ever turned away. It was no matter. Everyone was welcome in our city. If you came from Mendiv or if you hauled yourself here from across the seas, the Crusade accepted all and sundry. But on this occasion, we paid dearly for our laxity. Just as soon as those innocent lambs entered the city, they transformed into demons and rushed toward the wardstone, slaughtering everyone who tried to stop them. 62 people died in less than a minute. The demons used their mutilated corpses to desecrate the obelisk. None of them dared to go near it. The light of the goddess burned them all, so they threw the blood from afar, spattering the wardstone from every direction. And the lead demon, an eyeless beast, Manago was her name, jeered and gloated, saying we mortals had been sitting ducks, and the creature was right. We let our guard down. The bloodbath came to be known as the Red Morning Massacre, and it was burned into the townsfolk's memory. Since then, Canabras has adopted different practices. Heretics, cultists, spies, all the rabble who coveted Arilu's glory. We drove them all out of the city. We haven't had any trouble here since. Many have come here, even the Balor, something I can't pronounce, and they have all been sent straight back to where they come from, or else were killed for their trouble. You see, Deskari himself had to crawl out of the abyss and come here. The goddess cursed him in order to break through our defenses. And what did he do? He left again, and we're still fighting. Now that is vigilance. That's what vigilance and discipline can do. There's nothing dangerous about the whole. You told me yourself you received a light-bringing gift from an angel who perished in the caves below our feet. It's no secret that those passages are teeming with dangerous creatures who could kill anyone. He didn't say demons were down there earlier, he's right. Even a warrior of heaven. Demons and demonic offspring love roaming about underground. That's why we'll keep an eye on this hole. If the beasts decide to attack from it, I'll be ready for them. Alright? I don't have a lot of options here. I can ask where I can go to find Ramian. I can attack him, or I can say I have to go. Those are my options. Now, that does kind of cover everything, right? We either attack him, or we don't attack him. We either look for Ramian, or we don't at Ramian. But I go for him. To arms, death to the traitors, kill the demon worshipper. We picked our chaos action, finally. And we did okay with our initiative. They got an 8, a 10. He got a 14. So only Nenio was behind him. So I throw some grease out, just kind of hoping to cut their numbers down. Whoever comes out, but we want to fight all three of them at once is my hope. We only managed to knock one of them down, although they could still fall while walking through. Clicked on a battle spirit, give us all a little bit of a bonus. I'm a little bit scared. This is a boss fight. This is a boss fight I thought we were going to get in the church, and we didn't. So now we'll see what we can do. Now, do I go after the guy that's down, or do I go for the guy that's up? Guy that's up, clearly. See if we take him out, and we do. So at the moment, it's just the Inquisitor. Just Hulrun, excuse me. The Inquisitor will have to manage to stand up and walk out. So the question is, where do I go? And I made a reflex saving throw, but that means I am just on the edge of the crease. So I step back a little bit, so every round I don't have a chance to fall down. We put Laputa right behind her, and we wait for Hulrun to come up. He does walk past, which annoys me a little bit, but it means we do get some attacks of opportunity because once again, he's going for land. Actually, he went for Wolji. I take it back. But he did try to get at our back line, and so we do get some extra damage on him. Not a lot. Looks like Sela does 7, Laputa does 9, but it's something. Nenio misses with a blinding ray. Wolji steps in. Actually, I guess it's Camellia that he went after. We got good damage. That's 37 damage from Wolji. Camellia manages to miss. Land takes a couple shots here. 13, and then misses with the second one. So now we're behind. Sela can run up, smack him in the back. Another 13. Laputa takes the reach shot and misses with the Marching Terror, unfortunately. Doesn't like Camellia. Hits her hard. But the Inquisitor's still down. Nenio's got a chance. Just takes a crossbow shot. Misses. Wolji. Another 22 damage on sneak attack. He's so good. Quick Cure Light on Camellia. And Land takes the shots over at the unfortunate Inquisitor. But we miss both. Not even close. And we just kind of wait here for a second. He does get up and comes back out. We just don't want to go in and fall down. That's essentially what it comes down to. He did use his Judgment Protection. It should be I'm not actually sure what it does. But we missed. So we'll see how it goes. But we get him. Wolji comes up, does another 22 damage to the new Inquisitor. Yep, somebody's health is below 50%. And that's that. We're going to loot the rest of that, I believe, here. This is kind of a long episode, and I kind of hoped, honestly, to cut a big chunk of it out, but that didn't turn out to be the case. There's not much to cut out of this one. It's a pretty action-packed episode. There's not much going on. There wasn't a lot of fluff in there. I'm still kind of thinking about weapons and what we might want to use. We've got this longsword of right. So plus an additional 1d3 damage to chaotic creatures. So it's +1. Right now, the gold sword is just masterwork. It's not doing anything else for us. So this gets us +1 to attack and damage, and the extra 1d3 against chaotic creatures. Which is when we're not slaughtering Inquisitors in the city, is mostly what we're going through. So now let's do some level ups. We got a Spirit Hunter. We're up to level 4. She puts her points into Dex, which was a little surprising to me. I thought it would go into Charisma or Wisdom, neither of which is particularly high. But she's really gone. The developers have really gone for very much a frontline combat character who uses her magic abilities as support, rather than the other way around. Trickery and Stealth and Perception, I believe. And she gets Battle Master. So an extra attack of opportunity each round. Ability stacks with combat reflexes. There we go. And that is just an extra bonus from being the Spirit Hunter. So it's not a feat per se. Similar to that, but is what it is. All right, into Wolji, an Eldritch Scoundrel. And he goes ahead and, of course, puts his points into Dex. So he's up to 21 at this point. And then Mobility, Trickery, Stealth, Perception, and Use Magic Device. And then Hideous Laughter. He gets some new spells and Invisibility for level 2. Nice. And then he does get some abilities that work with his sneak attack. So now when he does the sneak attack, he can either do Bewildering Injury, which they take an extra -2 to their AC. Hampering. Eventually we'll come down and look at it. I think Hampering is a -2 to movement. Go on, keep going, Eric. You're fine. Eventually we'll get there. Hampering, yes. Target speeds are reduced by half. Hasn't really been an issue. Disoriented, -2 on their attack rolls. So Bewildering, -2 to their defense. Disoriented, -2 to their attack. And Debilitating is what all of these fall under. So these all call under the Debilitating Injury ability. And so we can kind of click which one we want later on. But that's nice. That's good. It works really, really well. I chose to go... I think I'm going to go Bewildering Injuries. It's generally what we're going to lower their AC for everybody else. But maybe we want to go with the other one at some point. Yeah, we do have Bewildering Injury up. All right, so onto our Scroll Savant, our wizard. Our wizard. Intelligence, obviously. There's nothing else there makes even a little bit of sense. And she went Arcana, World, Nature, and Use Magic Device. Happy with all of those. Make complete sense. And it looks like Stone Call and Acid Arrow. And then a level 3 of Heroism, maybe, is what she got. Stone Call is cool. It's just a 2d6 area effect and makes a area difficult terrain. So it's a little slower for me to move across. And Heroism. I think that's everything. Maybe we didn't get the Heroism. Did we? I don't know. I'm unsure now. I think we did. I think that was level 3 and the other 2 were level 2 spells that we added on. So now it's time for our own Laputa, our Bloodrager Spell Eater. She's at level 4 now. So we have some decisions to make for us. Because now we're actually making the decisions. And I'm like, looking, is there something we want to run through? And I don't see anything down there. There's nothing special down there. There's nothing really that makes a lot of sense for us to work towards. And so I don't. Really is what it comes down to. You know, you could go Hell Knight, but we've already said we're atheists. We don't. It's not that we don't believe in the gods, but we don't worship gods, right? And so none of those make sense. Nothing else there really. And you know, I thought about kind of the battle master, tactical wizard person, whatever they're called down there. But again, I don't think she's really that type of character. She's more of a run-in, smack stuff with a large axe and eat her enemies, right? That's really what she's at. So I think just leaving her where she is. There's really no reason to go beyond that, I don't believe. So now it's just where we want to put our stats. We could go a lot of directions. I don't remember, like in Baldur's Gate, you get 2, and here you only get 1. So I didn't remember what this one was. So we get 1 point. Which means we're not going to really get a bonus to anything till our next one. So it's just like, where do you want to put that 1 point? Did I leave it there? I might come back and change that. But right now, Constitution, that'll get us 3 16s across the board. We're not uber in anything, but it's a good, well-rounded character. We've got specialists all around us that are good at one thing or other. And that's, again, what I'm thinking here with this. It's like, where should we put our points? I've got people that are better at all of these than we are. We're really just back up on any of them. Because it just doesn't make a lot of sense for us to really push something, right? We're in medium armor, so athletics and mobility is difficult. Stealth isn't going to work. We don't need to do trickery. We could put points into knowledge. Knowledge World helps, I believe, with the camp screen. Perception is always good. Persuasion, because we're the primary person. But we do have good people with good persuasion rolls in the party. So we don't really need to put our points in anywhere. We can kind of continue to be a backup to everything. So persuasion, and I honestly don't remember. Athletics, since we're already there, probably. That makes sense. It is only medium armor, so we're not completely wasted there. We can dump that. We have decent strength. And 1 more point. Where did I decide to go with that? Knowledge Arcana is where I went. And my thinking was, we're getting introduced to all of this additional magic. We've got magic casters in the party. Almost everybody uses magic in the party, right, at this point. And we're surrounded by miraculous happenings and magic lore about what had happened in the past, demons versus angels. And it just makes sense that we've learned something about arcane knowledge in all of this. And so that's what I went with. And in fact, we're going to get a spell here, so it ties in even better, right? We've learned so much, we're even being able to cast spells out of all this. I didn't make that connection at the time, but that was my reasoning at the time. The fact that we get a spell this level as well is just bonus, right? Cherry on top. So we need to figure out, now we are a frontline fighter, so it makes sense to have something like Burning Hands, something that we're going to be able to throw out there whenever we want. But the other thought is maybe we want something that we can cast as we're walking up to the fight, because sometimes it takes us that first round, we're just pausing. We're moving partway up and then we're waiting for them to come to us. And so are we better off with a spell that we can cast in that, whether it's a prep spell or whether it's something that makes us better like True Strike, or whether it's something we can shoot out at them that will make them weaker, or just a straight damage spell. I do get 2 though. So I go for Burning Hands for we're in close. Maybe there's a bunch of people around us. We can throw out that Burning Hands. And then I might go, I don't remember. I just kind of figure something necromantic to tie back in with a kind of undead heritage. And there are a couple necromancy spells there. Ray of Enfeeblement, Ray of Sickening. I think there was something else closer to the top that was also a necromantic one. And so the thought is maybe I just go with one of those, more for flavor of the character than because of any min-max perfect scenario that I can think of, just because I think it fits the character, right? You know, Burning Hands kind of fits our rage type of, you know, just, you know, burn everybody. Burn everything, you know. And then it's like, oh, I don't know, Ray of Sickening. They get us, it's 1 minute per level, so it'd be useful. But this one is penalty to strength per 2 caster levels. Now the thing is, I'm only got a caster level of 1, and so I'm like, wait, I'm whatever level, but this is my first casting level, so it will only be 1d6 plus 1 rather than like a 1d6 plus 2, right? But that's still good. I mean, even lowering their strength 2 is potentially useful, and lowering it much more than that could give them huge negatives. It might put them where they're, you know, they can't carry their own armor. And now this is when we realize that the Inquisitor was up here killing mongrels. Not demons, mongrels. The people that were probably coming up to try to help him. Look at that. They're clawing up, and then they get murdered here at the top. So I feel better with my decision. And now it's time to head back off the map, I think. Where are we in this one? Yeah, just wrapping this one up. So as always, thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cheers.